Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel, and today we have a new aircraft dropping in the sim. Kind of had a preview it might be turning up very soon, then all of a sudden it released. This is the Aeroplane Heaven Cessna C-140. Now, this is the predecessor to the 150, which of course evolved into the 152 that we all know from Flight Sim and later the 172. This aircraft is a single-engine, two-seat, conventional landing gear, rather tricycle. Light GA aircraft. Now, it was produced in the beginning of 46, right after the World War II ended, and production ended in about 51, and the 150 came out in 1959. Now, it's not a big aircraft, it's not crazy, it's not anything hugely special, but it's the dawn of the affordable modern GA aircraft, and Aeroplane Heaven have done quite a nice job with this. Now, the aircraft itself has a wingspan of about 33 feet, a height of 6 feet, and a length of 21 feet. It has one Continental C85 4-cylinder 4-stroke horizontally opposed engine, knocking out a whopping 85 horsepower, with a two-bladed Senchnik? I can't pronounce it, propeller. It can go to about 109 knots max speed, cruises at 19.1 knots, stalls with flaps down at 39 knots, and a range of 390 nautical miles. So not big, not clever, but a fun little plane. Let's go take a look at it, shall we? So we're going to come outside first and take a little look-see-doodle. Now, Aeroplane Heaven have been known for making some pretty nice-looking airplanes. This one is no different. Now, it does have stamped numbers on it, which is not the end of the world. Simple but clean, effective texturing. Quite like it. That I don't like, though. Ugh. That curve. And the door bit there. As a texture artist myself, those are things I would not have let out the shop. But I'm a texture artist and I'm very, very particular about graphical things. That will always bug me. But overall, modeling is nice. It is simple. It is effective. Aircraft does look pretty good. Let's look at the brakes there. Ooh, nice up close. So good detail overall. Small plane. But it does, of course, take your standard flight sim crew in there, whoever you choose to be your pilot. So let's head inside, shall we? Now, the interior is kind of cool on this aircraft because as I have my controls still set for my last flight, usual click spots, nice and easy. Now we have opening windows. By clicking this large rocker, we can open the doors. And I believe we do have the ability to set the ground equipment. If I can remember where that dial is. Parking brake is there. There's our engine starter, there's beacon, secure aircraft. If we do that, we have chocks and we have some tie downs. Now this of course has a Venturi tube for its airspeed rather than a pitot tube. So there's nothing actually covering that, although there probably would have been a cover for the Venturi. Because there's even more chance of stuff getting in there and clogging it. Now, where did I leave that button? Well, gosh darn me. There we go. Now, the cool thing here is, if I toggle my avionics switch, you see these panels here? This radio works. This retro radio does function. Comes with a decent manual, by the way. Short, sweet, but effective, and it's not a complicated aircraft. Now, the radios here do work. They function exactly like the standard one, of course, outer ring, inner ring. It's a good facsimile to make it work and keep it the vintage look there. Of course, that doesn't open. You know why? Because, boom, wrong button. The anticlimax is real. Boom, confetti. Now, you can have a modernized one. I'm not sure I like the fact that's kind of hanging over the edge. But if you want to fly a modern one with glass instruments, which to me is wrong, this aircraft just does not belong with G1000 stuff. I mean, these are just transplanted from the basic sim, but for those people that want it, it is here as an option, of course. That is the last time I'm flying this aircraft when you'll even see that, so let's make that go away. Let's close our door and our window. Get those all tidied up. The one thing, this is a bit of an interesting one. You can't actually click on this and do anything. You actually have to click on here, on the sides. But the one thing that will bug me, you will learn about in a second. I loaded this into the sim to make sure it was functioning. It is. And let's get it started. And you'll see why I don't like this. The texturing looks good. I like the texturing. It's pretty nice. It's just something that bothers me. Oh, sorry, I need to prime the aircraft. Okay, that's our mixture is out to 100. I just actually toggle the flight sim controls there. That's that as well. Let's hit our starter. This is what I don't like. I have my volume in sim at 25%, okay? And that's already very loud in most aircraft. This aircraft, actually the sounds peak. They hit the upper limit of the audio range and they will peak. I don't like that at all. And they sound like I'm listening to a desk fan in a bathroom stall, if I'm going to be brutally honest. They sound like they were recorded from a real aircraft, but they weren't cleaned up. It's not something I'm a huge fan of, and that's the one thing I will be majorly critical of. Price for this aircraft is $25 or so. Not a bad price, to be fair. Where's my chocks? Or my parking brake? Sorry, there we go. Let's taxi her out, and you'll hear the engine a bit louder. You hear it bouncing off the audio there. I can't do anything about that for the video, guys. This is just how it sounds. The sounds are a bit of a killer for me. Overall, the aircraft's real nice. Like, I love the simplicity. It's a gorgeous little plane. Look inside the cockpit. We've got the baggage area. It's only a two-seater, of course. Good side visibility. The modeling looks great. The aircraft looks stunning. I love how it looks. The instrumentation's good. But unfortunately, that engine is a killer for me. Why that showed us open, I don't know. Now outside, the sounds sound great. They sound absolutely fine. Like, this sounds normal. Absolutely normal. But when we're in here, it sounds like I'm riding inside a tumble dryer. Which, with the amount of reverb that's bouncing off the top of the actual, give it a notch of flaps. The reverb bouncing off the audio range really hurts my ears, and in fact it's bouncing off the limiter with the volume at 25%. This bothers me that it's so much louder inside than outside. And we're up, nice and easy. Okay, there we go. Flaps up. There's definitely a dip with the flaps. I just adjusted myself on my hand on the yoke to compensate for the nose drop with the flaps. It does behave correctly. So we'll climb out of here. About 22.5 inch or 1,000 RPM. I keep thinking that's the manifold, but it's not. Okay, so aircraft is not very powerful, you know that. It's not a powerful aeroplane, but it does fly quite nicely. So we'll just give ourselves a little bit of a turn to starboard. She responds very quickly. Very quickly. A very well-behaved aeroplane. Give it a bit more power while we're climbing. We need a lot, to be fair. Now I remember this is my anti-ice. Where's my carb heat on here? That's my throttle. Where did you hide carb heat? I'm pretty positive this is a carbureted engine, unless they swapped one of these over for secure aircraft or engine start or the parking brake. I'll have to use my keyboard for that. We'll put the yoke back on. Now again, the sounds are a killer. Like, I do like this aeroplane. Visually, it looks very nice. Obviously, lighting options for nighttime use. That's obviously your microphone, because you wouldn't have a plug for this one. This would be a case of listening to the radio speaker and responding into that. I actually want to put this on the ground pretty quickly, because this is not something I'm enjoying audio-wise. But visually, gorgeous aircraft. If they update the sounds and fix the actual interior sounds, stop it sounding so much like you're I mean, maybe they're simulating the fact you wouldn't have headphones on. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is a simulation of how loud it would be in the actual aircraft, and without having an aviation headset on, which wouldn't have been around really at the time for this purpose. GA flying typically didn't involve using a headset. Maybe they're simulating that, you know, making you deaf. I don't know. Like I said, I love the modelling, I love the handling of this aircraft. It's very responsive. Let's bring around here. I'm killing the throttle here. I just want my ears to actually not die. Visuals wise, down here, nice and easy. The radio, nice and convenient. A nice over the dashboard one. The scratching in the glass isn't too oppressive, but it's about, I'd say, a realistic level there. Let's knock our flaps down here. Come around for an approach to the airport. We should get visual in a second. That little bay is one of our markers for the approach. There it is. Okay, we're at a good altitude here. We'll just keep rolling around here on a racetrack pattern. I'm not going to need actually much flaps. I could go to full flaps here for landing, but in these low-powered aircraft, full flaps is a commitment to land. You'd have no go-around option. The same thing applies to the Cessna 152, which I do have hours in. You use a step of flaps, really, unless you're going super short field, because full flaps in a 152 is a commitment. And with this having a similar power of engine, I consider full flaps the same thing. I am committing to landing at that point. Bit of a shimmy on the nose here with the wind direction. But she handles beautifully, very gentle, very familiar. It flies like a Cessna, but a little bit more visceral. A little bit more power just to maintain my approach angle. I'm a little bit lower right now. But it's not end of the world low. There's not many obstructions here on the approach to AUKUS. The wind is definitely playing interest in my approach today. I'm going to kind of keep it slightly crabbed. I'm going to put a bit of power on here. My nose is very high compared to what... Whoa! Hello! Oh. That was interesting. I've never had that happen to me before. Huh. Interesting. What flap setting was I at? Oh, wait. We had full flaps down. I hadn't selected full flaps. I selected one notch of flaps. Takeoff flaps. Let me just check if that's a malfunction here. No? System is behaving as it should. That could be pilot error. I'm not sure. But I know I only commanded one notch of flaps when I pressed the button. So we're back up here flying our approach again because I watched the footage back a minute ago. I'm going to leave that in. The aircraft stalled about 4 miles an hour faster than it should have done. Now, I had a pretty high alpha, but at the same time, I still stalled about 4 miles an hour faster than I should. Well, not as fast as I should. Miles an hour on this speedometer, actually. Should be about 38, and I stalled at 44, which is an interesting side of things. But I also noticed I got no flutter at all. There was no feeling of a stall coming on. There was no shake. Obviously, the aircraft has no stall horn. Whether that's intentional or not, I don't know if the 140 had a stall horn. So we're a little high up here. We'll just drop this down. But I didn't know I had full flaps on. I shouldn't have had full flaps on. There must have been some sort of glitch with the sim where it decided to deploy it when I pressed the button once. Wouldn't be the first time necessarily. So let's just ease her down here. Little bit of a side slipperoonie. And ease this baby down towards the runway properly this time. Now I am ensuring I have full flaps retracted here. I'm going to put out a notch of flaps. And I'm going to let her jack around onto track now. We're actually coming in for a better approach here on a good angle. Still slightly off, so I'll just slip her sideways a little bit. There we go. Woo, a little bit spicy. But, okay, watching my airspeed very carefully now because that was a surprise for me. A little bit of throttling here. We're coming about 60. I'll tell you what I did wrong. I knew the stall speed in knots, and that's miles an hour on the ASI. So, pilot error, 100%. But I had no effect of the stall. There was no flutter, there was no feeling of the airframe juddering, there was no actual response to the actual stall approaching. There we go. Let's just... Ooh, steady girl, there we go. It just came on instantly, so probably about the right point in time, but I had no feeling of it coming in. It was just dead. There was nothing. The airframe just did nothing to me as I approached stall, which is unusual. Aircraft tell you they're about to stall, and I think if I'd have felt something I might have reacted differently, but that kind of surprised me. But then again, a GA aircraft, slow, short final, full flaps, that can happen, and that kills a lot of GA pilots, so check that one up as a stupid mark on my part. But I didn't get any feedback from the aeroplane that it was going to do that in the flight model, so there you go. Right, let's kill that engine. Ooh, that's visceral. I don't mind that. But okay, so my thoughts on this aeroplane. Now, it's a nice model. It's pretty well done. There's a couple of little polish issues on some of the livery. There's 5 liveries included, by the way. And they're tiny little issues. Overall, pretty. Looks good. The interior sounds, I'm not sure if it's meant to be a simulation of no headphones, but my god, that's so loud. I almost don't want to fly it because of how loud it is and the fact it does peak the audio, even with my sim volume down to 25%, which leaves every other aircraft quite loud. So, I'll leave that one up to you guys. Otherwise, Aeroplane Heaven, Cessna 140. I like it. I think it will have some room for improvement, and as you can see on this side, that's even more. Okay, that's a strip that's been placed around. That makes more sense. I'll let them have that one. That's actually a wind strip that's been placed around it. That would be logical to be slightly off, but there it's straight connection off. Straight connection off. As a texture artist, that does bug me slightly. And the fact that this is clearly the map stretched over there, so they've got a bit of burring where it's starting to stretch the polygons. But it's little things like this that I absolutely love. Tiny little dirt and ding details that just add to the life of an aircraft. It makes it feel a little bit more visceral, you know? A little bit more used and real. The bit of a dirty prop there, some slight scratches and dings on the airframe. It looks nice. That's a nice little thing. Although, one wingtip painted, one not. It could be replaced. Adds more character, I think. Well, there you go, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and what do I sound on this? I'd say it's about an 8. If they patch the sounds inside, maybe a 9. But not bad. $25, I'd say it's above a Coronado in its overall performance. Visually slightly less, but not by much. I'd say just a different style. Sound-wise, it's a 3 right now. But I think it could be better. Thanks for watching. Bye.